Hey everyone, welcome back to Biren's Java Lab. In last video, we have implemented 3 REST endpoints for our Spring Boot app, right? Now it's time to containerize our application using Docker, which will prepare it for deployment to GCP, that is Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so let's dive in. So as you can see, these 3 endpoints that we have already implemented, and we tested it as well through Postman, right? Now, as I told, we will deploy it on GCP, so we have to containerize our applications, right? So, just a quick reminder before starting. Since our app is built with Java 17, make sure you have already built your jar using Maven build, right, before starting this Docker things. So as you can see, I have already built this jar, and as you can see, this target folder has been generated. So once your target folder gets generated, you will be able to see this jar file, right, .jar file generated in this target folder, right? So because when we start running Docker command locally, so it will search for this jar. Okay, if any issue, make sure you follow the correct steps that I have advised, and even you can pull this code from GitHub also. Okay, so this is public repo, so you can directly clone into your local. Now let's add a Docker file to the root of our project. Okay, so as you can see, this is the root of our project. So to write Dockerfile, what we will to do, we just right click on this root folder, we will select this new and then this file. So one more thing, like whenever you are writing Dockerfile, make sure you are following the correct naming convention, because this is the one the standard name, right? So this should be capital, and after that all the letters in small cases. Okay, and there shouldn't be any extensions. Okay, just Dockerfile, and just hit enter, and okay, click add, and as you can see, this Dockerfile in the root of this project, right? So it shouldn't be in any of this folder like source or anywhere, so it should be always in the root folder of our applications. So since this file is empty, we have to write certain commands here, and I will explain each one by one while writing those commands, and those are essentials. Okay, those are the commands that tells Docker how our app should get built, okay, and how image should be created. So all the information would be provided over here. So let's get started. Okay, so first command that I'm going to write over here is this: from Eclipse Tamarind 17 JDK. Okay, when we are saying from Eclipse Tamarind 17 JDK, okay, that means we are using Eclipse Tamarind's JDK 17 image. Okay, and this is lightweight and production ready. So hope this is clear. Okay, now let's add another line. So we have added work directory, okay, or we can say working directory, and /app, right? So what does it mean? So that means we are setting the working directory inside the container to app, right? So Docker has its own container. Hope you are aware of the Docker things, right? Because I'm not going to cover those things in this video, but I hope you already aware of that things. So I'm just assuming like you already know, and based on that I'm explaining what does it mean. So working directory is the directory in the container from where our jar file resides. Okay, so this is the folder we are creating. Okay, so when we run the Docker commands, that time working directory app will get created. You can name it anything, but this is mostly followed, so I'm writing like this, but it can be ABC, anything it could be. It's not necessary it should be app only. Okay, fine. Now let's add another commands. So now we have written one command called arg, and this is jar file, and this is the name, basically arg name, argument name. This is the folder target. As you can see, this is the target folder, and this is the jar name, right? As you can see it here. So this is the jar name inside this target folder. And why we have written, I will tell you why this is required. And even we don't want, we can skip this line also, okay? But this is I have written for more and better clarity, okay? So in this next line, what we have written, copy this jar into app.jar. That means what we are saying, first it will build a argument called jar file pointing to the jar produced by Maven, right? This is, and copy it to the container as app.jar, okay, inside this directory, okay? So what we learned from here, like even we don't want this directly, we can put the entire things here, but for better clarity I have used this arg. So this command is just to create an argument which holds this entire path of this our application jar, right? And same we are pointing it here, right? The value of this jar file, this argument. So this is particular value, right? This we can think it as key. This is the value, right? So we are passing key. So based on this key, this value gets copied here. So this is the entire location or path of this our jar, and we are saying just to rename the entire thing as app.jar, okay? So final would be inside this working directory app.jar. Expose 8080, okay? So here we defined what we'll call the default port for Spring Boot apps, okay? So this will be 8080, fine. Next we have to write one command to run the application when container starts, okay? That means till now what we did, we just told to fetch the image of JDK 17 from Eclipse Temurin. Then we are telling Docker to create a directory for us, that is app. Then this is the path of our jar that gets generated when Maven builds happen, okay? And this we are keeping in this argument called jar file. Same we are replacing with this app.jar, right? Hope this is clear. And now we are setting the default Spring Boot endpoints, that is 8080, and then we have to tell, right, we have to tell Docker to run our applications. For that we have to write one more commands, okay, so that our application gets started when container starts, okay? So let's write that. So finally we have written these commands, okay? Entry point java -jar app.jar, okay? So you already know, right? So this is the manual way of running our applications, any Java based applications, right? By providing the name of the jar. So these commands gets used by Docker at runtime to run our applications, okay? And it will search for this app.jar, which already we have replaced the original .jar file with this app.jar file, right? And same we are giving here, so that when our container starts, it will start executing this line, okay, this entry point, so that our application gets started, right? Hope this is clear. And if you have any doubts, please share your views or your queries in comment sections, okay? And I'll be happy to share or pass the responses as soon as possible, okay? Now once the Docker file is ready, let's build the Docker image, okay? So make sure you have written or you followed each steps that I've been telling you here. And as I told before starting or building the Docker image, make sure you have already generated this target folder, and this will get generated when you do Maven clean install. So once the build success, then you will be able to see this target folder where it contains this .jar file. If not, what will happen? It will try to locate this jar file at this location, but since this target file won't be there, right, so it will throw error, okay, because it could not find this particular specified location, right. So this only will be available once we build our jar. So hope this is clear. Now let's build a Docker image by writing commands. Okay, so let's do it. So I have already opened this terminal, as you can see here. One more thing, I just want to let you know, if you have not installed Docker desktop locally, I will suggest you to install, because we have to run this Docker commands to build image locally. And why does that require? Because even when we push it to GCP, it starts building all the steps, right, and there we don't need to install these Docker things locally. But why it requires here? And you might be having question why you are suggesting me to install. The reason I am suggesting, because I know this will do everything on GCP, and GCP will take care everything from building to normal Maven build to Docker build, everything. But what happens if there is any issues? Again, you have to correct it locally, right? And then again you have to push the changes. So instead of that, you first run the Docker command locally, so that if any issues comes, you will be able to identify before pushing it to remote or GCP, right? So it is advisable to first run locally, even when you are working for any project in any company. So, and if you are changing anything, any commands, or if you are containerizing your application, that time it is advisable to first test in your local. Okay, so let's write this command. Okay, so we have docker build command. Okay, build -t and our application's name, right? So you can say Spring Boot app. Sorry, one mistakes. Dot cannot connect to Docker daemon. Okay, the Docker daemon running. So that means it is saying Docker daemon thread is not running. So it must be running before running these commands. Fine. So let's run it first. So as you can see, I have selected Docker, and it will start in few minutes. So starting the Docker engine. Docker engine is the underlying technology that runs containers, right? Now it's started. Okay, I'll just close it. So now our daemon thread is running, or you can say Docker daemon is running. Now when we do run these commands, then what it is saying, repository name must be lowercase. Sorry, my bad. So as you can see, it was asking for lowercase, so we can say demo hyphen spring boot cloud. Okay, so what we are doing here, so we are writing dot, that means we are telling Docker to look for the Docker file in this current directory, that is dot, and rename this image to this demo spring boot cloud. Why I have used this one, and why it is not similar to this, right? You might be have that question in your mind. But this is this jar name, not the image name. So jar name and image name must be like different, otherwise this will be confusing, right? So that is the reason I have written this one. And why demo spring boot cloud, why not something else? Because our application name is demo hyphen spring boot cloud. So because of this reason I have used this one. Okay, hope this is clear. And now we will hit enter and we'll see. Now another issues coming. It is saying fail to solve, fail to read Dockerfile from this location. So as you can see, we are in this directory documents, but our app is running in different directory, and we already placed it into desktop, right? So let's go to desktop first. Okay, now since we are in desktop, so first ls to see the folder structures, what are the folders there. So you can see we have demo project over here. So we will just go inside this demo project, and then we'll do ls to see the all the repo, and we have this project demo spring boot cloud. So we will go inside this one, so demo spring boot cloud. Now we are in the correct directory, right? So since we were running docker build commands from wrong directory, it was throwing error. Now we are at the correct directory. Now let's run the same commands again. So this is the command. Okay, so now it should run. If any issue, we will resolve it. Let's see what happens. So now as you can see, this docker image already created, right? Now, so if you see, it has created this directory, work directory. I'm copying target this particular .jar file, right? And then at the end we have this image, right? So sorry, yeah, this is the image. We already got it, this image, right? Now let's start our container locally, right? So you might be saying, why again we are starting? Because we will test it locally, so that we should not get any sudden issues or errors on GCP. So just to avoid that issue, we will do all the testing in local before moving, or before doing anything on GCP, right? So let's run commands to run it locally. Okay, so we have these commands, right? So we are saying just run this demo spring boot cloud onto this port 8080. Okay, so we are mapping this port 8080. Now let's hit this command and see what happens. So as you can see, our container started these applications, and you can see this the masses, and this is coming from container. Okay, because we have not ran our application as a spring boot app directly from our project, right? So this is running through docker container. Okay, so as you can see, this started demo spring boot application in 2.04 seconds, right? So that means our containerization things happen. So we already created or successfully created docker image, and we are able to run the container, and containers already running our application successfully, right? So let's test one of the endpoints. So since our application started freshly, all our local cache data wiped out. Okay, So we have to send the request again so that it will create new entries for our use cases, right? So let's do it through Postman. So this is the post API just to do the user registrations. So this is the details. We will send this request, and we have successfully hit this endpoints, and it has stored our applications and returned this unique identifier, right? So let's test this as well through this get all students, and since we have only one student details, so we should be able to get that particular student details. So once when we are hitting this URL, we are able to see these results, right? So we have done this entire process of containerization of our applications, right? So hope everything is clear. If you have any issues, any doubt, please reach out to me. I will push this code into my repo. Okay, so you can do one thing. You can directly clone everything from remote to your local. So we have added this Docker file. So I'm writing like so containerization of our. So I have added Docker file to containerization of our app, right? So this is the message, and I am pushing this change into the remote repository. So this is pushed successfully, so you can verify it. If you refresh this link, so you will be able to see this Docker file as well, right? So as you can see, now we have added this one. So hopefully this is clear, and if you have any doubts, as I told, I'm always happy to help, and please do share, keep sharing to your friends as well, so that they can also get benefited. And don't forget to subscribe our channel to get all the updates regularly. Thank you so much.